Hi, I'm Yvonne from Pree Designs. Today I'm going to show you how I've put together my take on the Staggered triple box card. I've made it into a Christmas card and I've sized it to fit in a C6 envelope, and all my instructions are in centimetres. I do have PDF instructions available for 10 Aussie dollars, and that's got all of the measurements that I've used. So the first thing I started off with was a sheet of A4 basic white, and I've cut it into several lengths, and I'm just going to score it so that I can make my box. Now each of my little boxes I've actually made 1 centimetre bigger than the previous one so that I can stagger them nicely. So I'm just running along the length of this one just to make box number 1, and I've already put the other 2 boxes together just for speed of the video so that you're not watching me repeating the same processes. So this, as I said, is box number 1. This is your little tab that will adhere the boxes, or where you put your adhesive, so that you can hook the box together. I find it easiest to always use the table so that you've got a nice square finish, and fold it both ways so that you know your box is, oops, that's come undone, is nice and square. Okay, so there's my box number 1. I've already done box number 2 and already done box number 3. And as I said, they're just 1 centimetre bigger across the front edge of each of them. So then I need to put them together. Now I'll use my grid paper because that makes it nice and easy, and I'm just going to adhere a little bit more glue there. You don't want too much because you don't want the glue to smush out, and you want to make sure that you're putting the boxes together straight. So I'm using my grid paper. My side edges are facing the same way, you can see that there. And then I'm just using about a 1/2 centimetre, which is one of these little boxes, to line up and make sure that I'm sticking it down about a 1/2 centimetre in. Just trying to make sure that you can see that. Okay, so that's number 2 and number 3 stuck down, and then I want to stick number 1 down. And again, using my grid paper, lining it up, trying to make sure it's all nice and straight, and then picking it up so that it is actually straight across the bottom. All right, so you can see there, now when I expand the boxes out, I just don't want to disturb the glue. You can see that is my triple box. So not a hard card to make, a little bit tricky getting your measurements right, but as I said, I've sized my one so that it will fit into a C6 envelope. Then I'm going to decorate. Now I've cut my mats, each of my front mats, 1/2 centimetre smaller than each of my box fronts, and then the same with my designer series paper, and the paper I'm using is called Traditions of St. Nick, and that's available currently in our Stampin' Up online store. It's actually not in a catalogue, but you can order it as part of an order with any of our goodies from our annual catalogue. Oh, I got a bit of glue on the top there, I'll fix that up. You can order it with a combination of our annual catalogue or our September to December catalogue. All right, so that's all my designer series paper. I've got sticky fingers, and now I'm going to just adhere them onto the front of the box, each of the boxes. Oops. As I said, I like to use glue. It does give you a little bit of time to move your design. I've got a couple of furry edges on there too, which I will take off in a moment. That's going to be, oh no, that is the right way. I thought I was sticking it upside down. I'm not going to put the third one on because I want to put a little bit of ribbon through there. I've also, just to finish it off nicely, done little pieces of the mossy meadow for my little side panels as well. Then I've also got an edge. Oops, that's not stuck down. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I've also got an edge piece for the front side panel. Just so that it sits nice and looks nice when it's all finished. Okay, so I'll leave those to dry. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish off the front. I've cut off a couple of bits of ribbon, and for my ribbon I only ever usually adhere it on the back of my cardstock, just in case I need to move it. So a little bit of adhesive, wrap my ribbon around, a little bit more adhesive on the back of the ribbon because I want to put the red on the top. Just release that, and here I can see I've got it roughly in the middle. Wrap it around the front and adhere it onto the back. And then, got sticky on my fingers, and then that is ready to stick down onto my card front. So you could decorate this card as fancy as you wish, and it will sit flat into the envelope, but I will show you that in a few moments. Then I have gone ahead and I've pre-cut the Saint Nick and also the trees out of the paper. Now the paper is gorgeous. It's 12 by 12 paper. I'm just going to pull it out the packet so that I can show you the different designs out of it, or in it. The Saint Nick, it's got 3 different Saint Nicks and all the lovely trees. Then you've got treats, eats and drinking treats, post boxes, all sorts of different post boxes, like a room scene, some holly, and stockings. And then on the back, it's got beautiful, I've just got to pick it all up, damask style finishes on the back of the DSP. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And of course you get 2 of each of the 12 by 12 sheets in the pack. So I have just fussy cut the Saint Nick and the trees out. I like to take the papers off my dimensionals with a paper piercing tool, which you've got on your take your pick tool. And then, as I said, I'm just going to take those furry edges off, which I'll just do with a little spike. So I can do that after the video is finished. The trees, again, these are on the same page as the Saint Nick in the Designer Series paper. I've popped some little dimensionals on the back of those as well, and that just adds a nice detail to the front of the card. Okay, that's it so far. Then I need a greeting, which I'm using a beautiful greeting or a lovely greeting from the Brightest Glow stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp that in Cherry Cobbler because that is one of the colours in the Designer Series paper. And then I'm going to punch that with our Lasting Label punch because I know this one will fit nicely. Just make sure I've got it up the right way. That's it. And then for my my back of my card, I always like to have somewhere that you can easily write. So I've already cut a little mat and also a panel for the back, and I'm going to stamp that with this little branch piece from our Christmas Classics stamp set. And because it's photopolymer stamp, I need to bring in my stamping mat, and this will just add a little bit of interest, but still leaving enough space to write on. A little bit of interest on our little tag. And that's those bits done. Oops, I forgot to do the envelope. And then my tag, I also want to put some dimensionals. Now you can see I don't use a crazy amount of dimensionals. Stampin' Up! Dimensionals are awesome quality. They should hold your card together nicely. So I don't feel that you need loads and loads, but of course that's entirely up to you. There's my All Is Merry and Bright. put my mat. So this is a nice little space, as I said, to write on. And this is going on the back panel. And again, I've just made this one half a centimetre smaller on two of the sides, which then makes it 1/4 centimetre smaller, so that you've got a really nice space to write on the back of your card. So that's your back of your card. I mean, you could put panels on all of those. I haven't, because I didn't feel it was necessary. And then, as I mentioned, I forgot to do the envelope. So I always like to stamp my envelope with something that is relevant to the card or an image that is on the card. And also on the back. The 3 types of stamping that I've done there is inking once, but stamping 1st generation, 2nd generation, 3rd generation. The final thing I need to do is add a couple of little jewels. And I'm just going to use my iridescent pearl basic jewels for this one. It ties in nicely with the iridescent ribbon. And one up, oops. Flick him across, one over there. And again, I like to use my piercing tool on my it's running away. Take my pick tool, because it does flip under the jewel nicely, so you can pick up the jewel and the adhesive. I find if I use tweezers to pull up the jewel, often you will leave the adhesive on the backing sheet. Okay, so that is my take on the Staggered triple box card. And you can see it'll fit really nicely into that C6 envelope. I'll put all of the products that I've used in the text along with the video. Thanks very much. Have a great day.